but an tiny woman's war, and I will be a bone, will be tea. We were analyzed our and we Chopbar analysis. As a one woman see food now, what did you be as a cassa?
But I was also one or two.
No, but no catch him say, I told him, no, listen, no, tea. What's ha, a catch will be so boom. He
withdrew.
Now, meanwhile, unless I warn it is so pedestrian. Oh, please walk us, and I didn't say anything. I didn't catch it. In fact, Chopbar analysis, Chopbar it simply means that it is too pedestrian.
What boy? There's a miraculous man in Casa. No, what boy? Let Felix meet you.
What's here? You don't know what you are talking about. Obi, let me state it here. So Obiaka will say there was no EMT and a Milsa. Obwa. The day after the forecast, I was in a Joy FM studio. I openly confronted him and his spokesperson. I know that because my first foray to government, I'm a Hanatete, special assistant. So, Hanate,
no, a minister, right?
For trade.
Yeah, for trade.
She was a member of that committee. Until the others are now in the castle. The EMT was chaired by John Mahama. In fact,
but there was another advisory council,
yes,
right? Okay.
Advisory council, and you be before. Share. Emisata no yeding.
Vice president.
And
EMT chair, right?
But so when President Mama set up a presidential advisory group on economy. And no one casa President Mama the chair. Into the existence of an advisory council does not mean that there's no EMT.
Okay.
Until I'm placing it on record, says I'm no boy. Miracles doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm telling you, whoever your sources may say and no credit. May say and no credit. I've given you the fact. So the mere please.
Miracles say but the EMT meetings you attended na kwabena before we movie.
He was there. Oh, Massa.
Okay.
In fact, EMT the way it's Rollins in the creative. The first chairman, Professor Mills. I don't know whether Aliu Mama was also the head of the EMT or whether they had one. Okay. Kwabena before the Bank of Ghana governor, the energy minister, agric minister, trade minister were all members of the EMT.
When Mahama chair.
Absolutely. It will be a catch or say he was not a head of EMT or Boa. I was in that government. I have been there. Our castle. Number 2. Sir, analyst all year. Your mama I say Niema. You think I make say a Chopbar analysis no? Because we need a whole fine now we analysis. Now there are facts in front of you. Who need try would you know? Now my main was saying tia make us ask him. Oh, do be aka.
Or send the need a hon on your very.
Now me say so you see I cannot understand oh me say do be aka oh come say so kan. Me say facts go enim. Oh. Now what can someone pass more? We have to question your logic and your motive. Obi. We see Obi the inflation the facing get at 15.4%. It's in the money months any. We wafa inflation at some point from 8% at 54%. We say we more than more any amount some amount. And that you are competent. Now the other 15.4% when you're competent. Obi, sir, growth rate of 8% for 2017. It is their highest. Mama as head of EMT, the same position about me occupy now, only 14.4%. It is the highest in 40 years. Who's you be abon? The power bonding at 14.4, when you're 8. Who's winning, my dear? That's why I'm questioning your motive. What be exchange rate? You saying? So what the exchange rate feel 1.2, equal 4.2. Now over 4.2 cost 17 now. Who winning, my dear? What kind of deliberate naivety is that?
No, but the 17 was an outlier.
What is an outlier? What is an outlier? Do you know the damage it did to industries? What did I say? I'm sorry, but saying factories became churches. Do you know how many companies collapsed because of our exchange rate movement? In any event, you refuse unilaterally. You decided that you will not service your debt in foreign exchange. Mama Okana he had to service debt. So when you with him, you will make this analysis. You cannot compare yourself to Obi Otisa. Mama deficit to Jai 6.1. In the last 3 years, what scored double-digit deficit? We are now say below the line item now with the BSC. Mama never hid anything. with a deficit of 6.1. Who within we win, my dear, yet you took it to 15%.
A simple FM.
Public debt, a car, DS of mine. Now it's now 120 billion. What's one more years? I know my bomuti, omuni, my dear. Wuni, my dear, ama, would it cost 600 million? Mahama never defaulted on debt payment. Wo, a month for Abo, Bosia was a nibi, mean chia. Into almost for my non copimo, a bang, Namoja bomb matter free. Wuni, my dear, Obo homoding. Yet you have achieved a default. Won't mean chiawaka. A patch was saying fancho. You have plunged 1.3 million people into difficulty. Ama se come the boy Bosiano, one farm to watch the woman, what's winning, my dear. So, way about them, and I would see ya. Sanko for me, one in my dear. Nipa na, Obon Bosian, Utiano, Wano, and any pa. A more bonny, cluelessness, utter uselessness as a government in would default on your debts. Send a bear, when you're being chia a man worker, no me kusu. What's winning, my dear. You are arrogantly here calling people so mutiu. Winning, my dear, this is your record. It is a war per record. You take inflation from 8% and take it to 54%. Hyperinflation. It's what call a gaso and a pa. I dare a ton of saying if you are better than now, obi the fee 8% up to 15.4%. We say, Uni, my dear. Number 3, sad doom so arguments no. Again, because say when a Chopbar analysis. Obi, Doomsaw ended on 24th December 2015. Doomsaw as load shedding. Now, someone walk say, na ye ni sika edit tofu. One the case asem no. Where did he hear it from? Wo flag bearer na na wote ya edit department one no. Wa bet na joy FM agye to me say NDC solved it. Na my moya baso. Chairman Sabunsu in terms of standing in the MPP one ne yepe. He has admitted that we resolved. In fact, Nana Poku, so Nana Poku, or an expert, he was one of the people who contested Kojo, sorry. He was one of the people who contested MPP elections. No, he expressed
he was.
But
no, he contested.
He contested
The first
sure. Good.
Sure.
He is on record to have told Ghanaians that we should give credit to Mama for solving them so. I've given you a specific data, load shedding, as an official program, ND. Obi, Osena, you can find video by and fuel in him. In any event, who see thermal planter, it will take you a minimum of 3 years. If the 10 persists for 2 years, yeah, they are married in a car power by no. But in soon you do one, and I was in a fuel. Obi, maybe so. Into no, I see a find video by now you need to get to fuel. Mr. Ahia, and yes, it's a good science video. A money generated about 550 megawatts of power. I saw with them now. Was it sand? And I had the asawa and the goom. In some cases, a Chopbar analysis. It is not properly considered. A pedestrian propaganda but not here. Me, I was in that government. Who named Chopbar Kokra Mencho? Into now, we Baumyako didn't trouble deficit a match. Into Mesre, we at here for now with ya. I say, with ye no cre. Omoba Bemu, they complain of excess deficit, excess capacity. Meanwhile, yati hay mo de wapuka inti rebi ompe bia no mato omo pipe no meboa na wekutia kakra no mebie IPPs some no ka say there's a debt of 23 billion Ghana cedis in the energy sector. Meanwhile ye jao gas planter ate ye fuel import so by $300 million ase jao esla sika ye tua hoto a wo de be solve eye e car e bia wo de wo sa sector no. Meanwhile you've racked up debt of 23 billion. What's your air man who say woody my dear? Obi are not only SLDB. Any access to gas for 8 years and a war has it be able to resolve a problem? Oh, and yet you are doing some about a month ago. Because now want to mean to your wapuka. What they now saying your friend saying sir asogli. On better say they will shut down. What was it about? And yet a canamodium. It's one and it's you. Who will be a spoiled pampered child? Who will be a who also be a childish analyst? Where they are toddler analysis now. Way, I didn't Ghana 2 weeks ago. More ne wapoka and more issue statements on my two on my pipe. And I will patch or compare the big credible of no man. See, I make can be that anytime they feel like it, they will close their taps as Mubium. What the home better to be? First of all, he even Massa Doomsaw in 1984. Under Rollins, between 97 and okay, 98 World Cup near Dadun Somu Ghana. When I was a student at Kia University, between 2006 and 2007, yeah, Dadun Somu and Kufuor. In fact, Kufuor double the deficit in 2008. One of the explanations on mine is that because of doing something, they had to scramble to get additional power generation. Well, one my that doom some almost 1.5 years. Now, Obi by 2 years, they are also on a winning my dear. Meanwhile, in terms of power generation capacity, Obi and Medjuma Mama close to 3,000 megawatts of additional power. So, doom so better year one cabayas and them. When you almost 800 billion Ghana cedis in terms of revenue near car, Bosi and Wabone friends oil influence in Bibia. Yet, won't to me ain't your Africa, Debbie Pebiano, Omu to me, Edu Momo Pipe. Mama, he got a total of 248 over 8 years. And yet, or no, now to me, a service, external debt, won't to me service, yet was winning, my dear. Again, let me put that nonsensical lie about say, Obia Jubana, Yentiana Kanu to rest. There was a section of teachers.
Yeah, teachers.
Because of a payroll audit. Almost say there was arrears and near Duamoka, and it had to be paid. But government told that no, I say you should muka kranza. Inti arrears na de wono yabema 3 months to subsist on whilst we clean up the system. It was that audit that had been done, and I'm sure so declare arrears. It was never a government policy say you can yen 3 months pay. So as we Minister of Finance said take watch much, but because of Chopbar analysis in pedestrian illogical propaganda, you repeat it. What's here? Can say Yakofo bank account. More MPP, you have an entire factory manufacturing lies. We are now Minister of Information. Now say we are fighting against fake news. More the flyers. Nancy Uko di in trophy. We I said do get young. So I work as in be Emma Obepa which later. And you are talking about lies. But me to me Kujina platform say he can build district hospitals for $5 million. Meanwhile, the same government now President Akokate sword AC district hospital for $100 million. Sorry, $35 million. Ewo Shama. Say Obama Cape Coast for Harbor, any airport. 10 months to go. Pick us a gram for being more from Ewo Cape Coast. Yet we see Ubiabum. My memory to we see arrogance. I dare that unim. Yet we see won't say. Oh yes, sir. Who in the eyes of listeners. First of all, say Baumia Bekan someone. And I'm going to invite him some member. Into move items I'm going to make about me as a memo wooding. It's me bold, dear. I'm the Boba Miadian. How has he got under my skin? Abraham Mama can't 24 hour economy. Baumian Kujina, Nukum, I responded to. Had Mama gotten under his skin. Massa, those days are about me on my Belmonti. People didn't know him and all kinds of my sons. They are over. And now, or year where we know, on one time for trouble on the send I feel almost retreat from distancing about me distancing from your friends saying I put for the government by saying that now accept it because they have come and
almost in the speech, there is no way he says what distancing.
Maybe I first of all they flew a kite to Coffee will be in talk about me team.
Or say or no pay Baumia, and not just all kind of team.
He's a surrogate of Baumia, everybody knows it.
But that's not wrong, is it?
Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, so of course, for MPP, there will be nothing wrong. Except MPP, I'm on your cult. It's what I catch and say, Ma, you're more about me, you know, what were they trying to tell us? And then you bent up, friends, a chairman Sabunsu. Attach ya. These are MPP stalwarts. They've said the same thing. Say, Baumia cannot be blamed. Now, Yanko blame me, Menana, Akoko, Wohum. Baumia, I'm did to see it, so I can share and say, on my country, say, they will move from taxation to production. Taxation to production, what did he mean? Well, by all the 40 taxes, they be so. And I mean, I'm a to see it, so I can share and say, Yang ya borrow too much and they will do differently. In fact, on page 13 of our 2016 manifesto, they promised to reduce borrowing. What they can if you 120, quote 600, have you reduced borrowing? Interest rates, if we made 20s, equal 40 a few months ago, percent a few months ago. Who's winning, my dear? Now, when you President Mama, since 2021, or year, thank you to Sokai. The first public lecture, you know, you heard him speak about policy alternatives. Okachire mo say the way a man mismanage economy no, you have to go to the IMF to ensure policy credibility. Na be your investors no ain't lose confidence with you. Motina ho and I won't go. We are a proud people. Omotina for 2 years my name must say until say ebedu bia a man for starting say omo chum sika free. Yeah, man. I know in a Bank of Ghana government, like I said, at the beginning of 2022, they had 6 billion in the reserves. By the end of the year, no, now akabe $1 billion. Because there was capital flight. People didn't have confidence in you anymore. Restructuring. Go and read that speech. Ewa Kempiski. John Mama can want him. Wakaso about 24-hour economy. Obi. Me no waka say. Watch it for in the town. Watch it after 6 p.m. Nipas, is it the regular practice?
Maybe because there is no demand.
Absolutely.
So
you have to stimulate that demand. That is the difference between the American and any pedestrian Chopbar analysis. Miracle say. Why? TUC, FNC, General Secretary, the PhD holder. Your friend say, he has given full endorsement to that policy because he is in the business of employment generation. It will name the value of the 24-hour economy policy. Since and there's no deliberate policy. Share essential services. It is because of the nature of their work. Into pharmacy VPA at midnight because we are here. Hospital doing gas over phone because we are here anytime. Essential. Apart from them, only a handful of sectors in industries being around 24 hours. Your mama say he will make it the norm rather than the exception.
But how do you ensure
he has said that first of all, people need incentive to be able to run that way. There are companies they are producing at half capacity because value chain the cost is too much. Who can import as look at taxes and masses ediegu import so the person cannot export raw materials because of taxes. Meanwhile, there's market one to me produce and baby meat. John catcher was all bar. He will have a certain tariff regime, a more incentive for industry that want to run that way. Now I have one more by the installation of special meters that give those incentives. Waka say Obama tax breaks in 1995 under Mr. Aboagye as trade minister under the Rollins regime. And any free zones we buy. Free zones companies, so don't you give them 10 years tax incentive? And nothing I walk over, you have heavy hitters. Cargill, Barry Callebaut, any major industries there. It was a special program designed by an NDC government. And nothing is because it did not drop from the sky. So you need a special policy. John Makacha also bar. He will scrap Esgasha and Bamia is repeating it. Yet to say your mama and policy behind my. Into say if it was not a policy, what was Bamia mentioning it for? Now Udi Agra no bomb Mugu and not one system. John Mama see your bar, he will reduce the size of government. You won't have hundreds of what do you call it? Political appointees. Oh, your friends saying what?
But the number not sure the baby saying 60.
Yes,
right?
60. I think
Bamia says 50.
No problem. But I know say he's been forced to adopt that position because your mama can't in here. Because in all the years he has been in the government at the point they had over 120 ministers. Almost justify catching and say the volume of work requires it. Meanwhile, the outcome was that by 2021 we were bankrupt. Bamia had never stated anywhere he had that opportunity to comment. Now, or say, oh, you're vice president. You have to agree with the president. If you don't agree, you cannot voice it out. Masa, okay? Yenya Kowaka, Kowaka, he was actually the candidate, the running mate for the opposition. But he was vice president because vice president you cannot be sacked. So you actually have security of tenure, just like a Supreme Court judge. You actually have incentive to dissent if you strongly believe sanity. Aka was prepared to go toe to toe with Rollins to defend his beliefs and convictions. And I want it. Did he not publicly express his disagreement to the government?
But it's resulted in a fight with the president.
But you see, of course, it is not desirable. But at least it showed that he believed in his convictions. Bamia is not a politician of convenience. He has said it because Amafua Bonechi. He levy. Abra NDC for a day after the Boba Parliament. Omukofa MP and not that ambulance Eba Parliament to vote for 11 and your minority in the Kutiai. Baumia spokesperson Gideon Boakon has told us that Baumia supports e-levy. Kojo Aponkoma, he is official spokesperson of government or call big issues. Ewo City. Or say it is not necessary for Baumia to speak against e-levy because he fully supports it. And that he even insisted that there should be a threshold of 100 Ghana cedis. It's also supporting e-levy and Akufo-Addo. Yet also about Ubechim. So e-levy na yadepa na yadepa. Say yadepa na wuchim. Yes, sir, VAT on electricity. He knew say that thing was going to be removed anyway. Because as of last week, now Bayakache said they are going to engage the IMF to remove it, but find an alternative way to generate revenue. And yes, I net here. Time at the end of the they said they 2 months at least. And yeah, November and all passed before Parliament rules. And I was it October also. Has Baumia offered a whimper in terms of dissenting on that policy?
Okay.
There is no conviction in the things he's saying.
You don't believe anything you heard from him?
He will have district mechanization centers. Waka. In fact, over 2020 manifesto, there are so many items. It's what I won't say. Of course, I won't say. Now, sir, hapless recitations. Master, digitalization. What is it? Some catchers and me now as a deputy communications minister.
Yes.
Or say, or no, day, your friend say, a moment of probability. eServices.com. Master, eServices.com. Mr. Tevi. Now, or 2014. Now, or Nita. Director General. Or no, and introduce you eServices.gov. We share a green book. Green book you published in December 2015. We share the last page. We show you the services rendered through eServices.gov. How could we have known 1 whole year ahead? Say Baumia will come and say this and put it in our book.